In linguistics, a compound is a lexeme that consists of more than one stem. Compounding a composition is the process of word formation that creates compound lexemes. That is, in familiar terms, compounding occurs when two or more words are joined to make one longer word. The meaning of the compound may be similar to or different from the meanings of its components in isolation. The component stems of a compound may be of the same part of speech, as in the case of the English word footpath, composed of the two nouns foot and path, or they may belong to different parts of speech, as in the case of the English word blackbird, composed of the adjective black and the noun bird. With very few exceptions, English compound words are stressed on the first component stem. Formation of compounds. Compound formation rules vary widely across language types. In a synthetic language, the relationship between the elements of a compound may be marked with a case or other morpheme. For example, the German compound Kapitän-Patent consists of the lexemes Kapitän and Patent joined by an S, and similarly, the Latin lexeme paterfamilias contains the archaic genitive form familias of the lexeme familia. Conversely, in the Hebrew language compound, the word Bet Sefer, it is the head that is modified. The compound literally means house of book, with Bet having entered the construct state to become Bet. This latter pattern is common throughout the Semitic languages, though in some it is combined with an explicit genitive case, so that both parts of the compound are marked. Agglutinative languages tend to create very long words with derivational morphemes. Compounds may or may not require the use of derivational morphemes also. The longest compounds in the world may be found in the Finnic and Germanic languages. In German, extremely extendable compound words can be found in the language of chemical compounds, where, in the cases of biochemistry and polymers, they can be practically unlimited in length, mostly because the German rule suggests combining all noun adjuncts with the noun as the very last stem. German examples include Farbfernsetter Gerät, Funkfernbedienung, and the jocular word Donnerschifffahrtsgesellschaftskapitansmutsee. In Finnish, although there is theoretically no limit to the length of compound words, words consisting of more than 3 components are rare. Even those with less than 3 components can look mysterious to non-Finnish, such as Hartaulaskaitava. Internet folklore sometimes suggests that Lentakwansuku Tabini Mutoriapumeikani Koaliopsiriopilas is the longest word in Finnish, but evidence of it actually being used is scant and anecdotal at best. Compounds can be rather long when translating technical documents from English to some other language, since the lengths of the words are theoretically unlimited, especially in chemical terminology. For example, when translating an English technical document to Swedish, the term motion estimation search range settings can be directly translated to rural subskattning intervalsinstallningar, though in reality, the word would most likely be divided in two, intervalsinstallningar for rural subskattning, search range settings for motion estimation. Subclasses. Semantic classification. A common semantic classification of compounds yields 4 types: endocentric, exocentric, copulative, appositional. An endocentric compound consists of a head, i.e., the categorical part that contains the basic meaning of the whole compound, and modifiers which restrict this meaning. For example, the English compound doghouse, where house is the head and dog is the modifier, is understood as a house intended for a dog. Endocentric compounds tend to be of the same part of speech as the head, as in the case of doghouse. An exocentric compound is a hyponym of some unexpressed semantic category. None of its components can be perceived as a formal head, and its meaning often cannot be transparently guessed from its constituent parts. For example, the English compound white collar is neither a kind of collar nor a white thing. In an exocentric compound, the word class is determined lexically, disregarding the class of the constituents. For example, a must-have is not a verb but a noun. The meaning of this type of compound can be glossed as whose B is it, where B is the second element of the compound and A the first. A Bahuvihi compound is one whose nature is expressed by neither of the words, thus a white-collar person is neither white nor a collar. Other English examples include barefoot. Copulative compounds are compounds with two semantic heads. Appositional compounds are lexemes that have two attributes that classify the compound. Syntactic classification noun compounds. Most natural languages have compound nouns. The positioning of the words varies according to the language. While Germanic languages, for example, are left branching when it comes to noun phrases, the Romance languages are usually right branching. In French, compound nouns are often formed by left-hand hits with prepositional components inserted before the modifier, as in chemin de fer, railway, lit. Road of iron, and moulin à vent, windmill, lit. Mill by means of wind. In Turkish, one way of forming compound nouns is as follows: Yelda windmill, demi-rilu, railway. Verb noun compounds. A type of compound that is fairly common in the Indo-European languages is formed of a verb and its object, and in effect transforms a simple verbal clause into a noun. In Spanish, for example, such compounds consist of a verb conjugated for the second-person singular imperative followed by a noun, e.g., rascashi los sacacorchos guarderopa. These compounds are formally invariable in the plural. French and Italian have these same compounds with the noun in the singular form. Italian graticello, skyscraper, French grill pane, toaster. This construction exists in English generally with the verb and noun both in uninflected form. Examples are spoil sport, killjoy, breakfast, cutthroat, pickpocket, dreadnought, and know nothing. Also common in English is another type of verb-noun compound, in which an argument of the verb is incorporated into the verb, which is then usually turned into a gerund, such as breastfeeding, finger-pointing, etc. The noun is often an instrumental complement. For these gerunds new verbs can be made, breastfeeds, and from them new compounds, mother-child, breastfeeding, etc. In the Australian Aboriginal language Jingaloo, a Palmer-Noongar language, it is claimed that all verbs of E plus N compounds, such as do asleep, or run a dive, and the language has only three basic verbs, do, make, and run. A special kind of composition is incorporation, of which noun incorporation into a verbal root is most prevalent. Verb-verb compounds. Verb-verb compounds are sequences of more than one verb acting together to determine clause structure. They have two types. In a serial verb, two actions are often sequential, are expressed in a single clause. For example, utrdzo, lit. Turn leave means turn and leave, and Hindi yakdekho, lit. Go conjunctive participle see imperative means go and see. In Tamil, a Dravidian language, vantu pa, lit. Come see. In each case, the two verbs together determine the semantics and argument structure. Serial verb expressions in English may include what did you go and that for, or he just up and left. This is however not quite a true compound since they're connected by conjunction and the second missing arguments may be taken as a case of ellipsis. In a compound verb, one of the verbs is the primary and determines the primary semantics and also the argument structure. The secondary verb, often called a vector verb or explicator, provides fine distinctions, usually in temporality or aspect, and also carries the inflection. The main verb usually appears in conjunctive participial form. For examples, Hindi nikal gaya lit, exit went means went out, while nikal para lit, exit fell means departed or was blurted out. In these examples, nikal is the primary verb and gaya and para are the vector verbs. Similarly, in both English start reading and Japanese yomi hajime start conjunctive read start reading, the vector verbs start and hajime start change according to tense, negation, and the like, while the main verbs reading and yomi reading usually remain the same. An exception to this is the passive voice, in which both English and Japanese modify the main verb i.e. start to be read and yomi hajime rulet. Read passive start to be read. With a few exceptions, all compound verbs alternate with the simple counterparts. That is, removing the vector does not affect grammaticality at all nor the meaning very much. Nikla went out. In a few languages, both components of the compound verb can be finite forms. Kura kecr lit. Died 3 place went 3 place died. Single quote dot. Compound verbs are very common in some languages, such as the northern Indo-Aryan languages Hindustani and Punjabi, and Dravidian languages like Tamil, where as many as 20% of verb forms in running text are compound. They exist but are less common in other Indo-Aryan languages like Marathi and Nepali, in Tibeto-Burman languages like Limbu and Nuari, in Turkic languages like Turkish and Kyrgyz, in Korean and Japanese, and in Northeast Caucasian languages like Tcz and Ava. Under the influence of a Quechua substrate, speakers living in the Ecuadorian Altiplano have innovated compound verbs in Spanish. De rabia puse rompiendo la ola, in anger smashed the pot. Botemos matando, we will kill you. Cf. Quechua hunuchi shpa shitashan lit. Kill cp throw. 1 plfut. Likewise in Hindi, Dera Komar Darlanj lit. We will kill throw you. Compound verb equivalents in English. What did you go under that for? If you are not giving away free information on your website, then a huge proportion of your business is just upping and leaving. Big pig, she took and built herself a house out of brush. Caution. In descriptions of Persian and other Iranian languages, the term compound verb refers to noun plus verb compounds, not to the verb-verb compounds discussed here. Compound adpositions. Compound prepositions formed by prepositions and nouns are common in English and the Romance languages. Japanese shows the same pattern, except the word order is the opposite. No naka. Hindi has a small number of simple postpositions and a large number of compound postpositions, mostly consisting of simple postposition k followed by a specific postposition. Examples from different languages: Anishinabemun, Ojibwe, Mashkiki Wabu, tonic, Mashkiki, medicine, plus Wabu, liquid. Miskoman, raspberry, Misko, red, plus Mian, berry. Dibik Twitsis, moon, Dibik, night, plus Twitsis, sun. Jichi Mukoman, white person, American, Jichi, big, plus Mukoman, knife. Chinese, student. Hok 6 learn plus sang 1 grow. Space tie 3 great plus hung 1 emptiness. Skyscraper, mo 1 touch plus in 1 sky plus lao 2 building. Printer, daa 2 strike plus yan 3 stamp. Print plus gay 1 machine. Encyclopedia, BAA 3100 plus FO 1 study plus Science for entire, complete plus SYU 1 book. Dutch arbeidsongeschiktheidsverzekering disability insurance arbeid labor plus ongeschiktheid inaptitude plus verzekering insurance rioolwaterzuiveringsinstallatie wastewater treatment plant real sewer plus water plus zuivering cleaning plus installati installation verjaardagskalender birthday calendar verjaardag birthday plus calendar Klantenservice medewerker customer service representative Klanten customers plus service plus medwerker worker Universitätsbibliothek university library Universität university plus bibliothek library Doorgroeimogelikten possibilities for advancement door through plus grow plus moduligten possibilities Finnish Sana Kirha dictionary Sana word plus Kirha book Tietäquan computer Tieto knowledge data plus Kona machine Keskiviikko Wednesday Keski middle plus Viikko week Ma Ilma world maa land plus Ilma air Rautatiesma railway station Rota ein plus Tai road plus Asima station Kolmi via kilowatt tuttometry electricity meter 3-phase kilowatt-hour meter Swikucha Bayayapi Mechanico Aliopsiriopilis jet engine assistant mechanic NCO student Atomiden energy reactor generatori Lordatarjatur Bayanaratisved literally atomic nuclear energy reactor generator condenser turbine cogwheel stage German Wokenkratzer skyscraper Woken clouds plus Kratzer scraper Eisenbahn railway Eisen plus Bahn track Kraftfahrzeug automobile Kraft power plus Fahren fire drive plus Sieg machinery Stacheldraht barbed wire Stachel barbed plus Draht wire Rindekenzeignungs und Rindfleischkartierungsaufgabenübertragungsgesetz literally cattle marking and beef labeling supervision duties delegation law Ancient Greek phi iota lambda omicron sigma omicron phi omicron sigma philosopher phi iota lambda omicron sigma phi lost friend plus sigma omicron phi iota alpha sophia wisdom Delta eta mu omicron kappa rho alpha tau iota alpha democracy Delta mu omicron sigma demos people plus kappa rho alpha tau omicron sigma rule omicron delta alpha kappa tau upsilon lambda omicron sigma rhododactylos rose fingered omicron delta omicron new rodent rose plus delta alpha kappa tau upsilon lambda omicron sigma dactylos finger Icelandic Jan Brout railway Jan ein plus Brout path or way Farataiki vehicle Faro journey plus Taiki apparatuses Alfrethi or the Book encyclopedia Al everything plus Frethi study or knowledge plus author Book dictionary Simple telephone conversation Sim telephone plus Tal dialogue Italian millipiedi centipede mill thousand plus piedi feet Ferrovia railway ferro ein plus via way Turja Cristallo windscreen wiper Turja to wash plus Cristallo crystal glasses Japanese mezumashi alarm clock me I plus samashi awakening clock Okonomiyaki okonomi preference plus yaki cooking Higa eri day trip high day plus ka eri returning Kokai jijido national diet building Kokai national diet plus gaji proceedings plus do hall Korean anpak inside and inside plus back outside Spanish ciencia ficción science fiction ciencia science plus ficción fiction siempies centipede 100 plus spies feet Ferro Carol railway Ferro ein plus Carol lane Paraguas umbrella para stops plus aguas water cabizbajo, keeping the head low in a bad mood. Subibaja, seesaw. Limpia parabrisas, windshield wiper, is a nested compound. Limpia, clean, plus parabrisas, windshield, which is itself a compound of para, stop, plus breezes, breezes. Tamil. In Semoji, rules for compounding the laid down in grammars such as Tolkapi Umananupul, in various forms, under the name Punachi. Examples of compounds include kopuram from ko plus puram. Sometimes phonemes may be inserted during the blending process such as in Covil from ko plus il. Other types so like Venai from Velai plus ne. Note how Velai becomes Ven. In Kotantamaj, parts of words from other languages may be morphed into Tamil. Common examples include Rata as Hatam from the Sanskrit Rakta and Semoji as Hatam. Note how Rakta becomes Rata in Tamil order to remove the consonant cluster. This also happens with English. For examples, Kapi Katai is from English coffee, which becomes Kapi in Tamil, and the Tamil Katai meaning shop. Taliko yeshi, dograb, dilutso, peanut butter, dilu, squirrel, plus dso, dung. Iko, hospital, ey, sick, plus co, house. De gotli, kerosene. De land, plus gotli, it's fat. De let, panic, do, people, plus let, bread. Germanic languages. In Germanic languages, compounds are formed by prepending a descriptive word in front of the main word. For example, starfish is a specific fish with a star shape. Likewise, the noun phrase star shape means a star-like shape. While some compounds may have a predefined meaning, compounds like star shape and star-like can be composed when needed, and their interpretations are bound by the rules of compounding. Germanic compounds inherit the lexical category of the main word, and are inflected by inflecting the main word. That is to say, since fish and shape are nouns, starfish and star shape must also be nouns, and take plural forms, starfishes and star shapes. This principle still holds for languages that express definiteness by inflection, whereas for languages that use a definite article instead, the definite article precedes the whole compound rather than intermingling with it. The compound is understood as a word in its own right. As such, it may in turn be used in new compounds, so forming an arbitrarily long word is trivial. This contrasts to Romance languages, where prepositions are more used to specify word relationships instead of concatenating the words. As a member of the Germanic family of languages, English is special in that compounds, as a main rule, are written in the separate parts. As in Dutch or German, noun phrases like Girl Scout troop, City Council member, and cellador are arguably compound nouns and used as such in speech. Writing them as separate words together is merely an orthographic convention. Russian language. In the Russian language, compounding is a common type of word formation, and several types of compounds exist, both in terms of compounded parts of speech and of the way of the formation of a compound. Compound nouns may be agglutinative compounds, hyphenated compounds, or abbreviated compounds. Some compounds look like acronym, while in fact they are agglutinations of type stem plus word, accardum gyrodoc. In agglutinative compound nouns, an agglutinating infix is typically used. Steamship plus plus. Compound nouns may be created as noun plus noun, adjective plus noun, noun plus adjective, noun plus verb. Compound adjectives may be formed either by e, e.g., white, pink, or as a result of compounding during the derivation of an adjective from a multi-word term. Stone Island Avenue, a street in St. Petersburg. Reduplication in Russian language is also a source of compounds. Quite a few Russian words are borrowed from other languages in an already compounded form, including numerous classical compounds, or internationalisms. Automobile. Sanskrit language. Sanskrit is very rich in compound formation with 7 major compound types and as many as 55 subtypes. The compound formation process is productive, so it is not possible to list all Sanskrit compounds in a dictionary. Compounds of 2 or 3 words are more frequent, but longer compounds with some running through pages are not rare in Sanskrit literature. Some examples are below. Name of the Himalaya mountain range. Literally, the abode of snow. A compound of 2 words and 4 syllables. Literally, the one whose jewel feet are covered by the cluster of brilliant rays from the gems of the best crowns. For the Sanskrit work Panchatantra. A compound of 9 words and 25 syllables. Literally, the one who dispels the darkness of 3 worlds by the shine of Kaustubh, a jewel hanging on the chest, which has been made reddish-yellow by the saffron from the bosom of Kamala, an adjective of Rama in the Kaka Bhushandi Ramayana. A compound of 16 words and 44 syllables. Literally, the acclaimed forerunner in understanding of the canons of Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisesika, Purvamimamsa, Vedanta, Narada Bhakti Sutra, Andalyu Bhakti Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana of Valmiki, Srimad Bhagavata, and the most skilled in comprehensive self-study, discoursing and expounding of the complete works of Goswami Tulasidasa. An adjective used in a panegyric of Jagadguru Rambhadracharya. The hyphens show only those word boundaries where there is no sandhi. On including word boundaries with sandhi, this is a compound of 35 words and 86 syllables. Recent trends. Although there is no universally agreed upon guideline regarding the use of compound words in the English language, in recent decades written English has displayed a noticeable trend towards increased use of compounds. Recently, many words have been made by taking syllables of words and compounding them, such as pixel and bit. This is called a syllabic abbreviation. There is a trend in Dutch and the Scandinavian languages towards splitting compound words, known in Norwegian as surskriving and in Dutch as Engelsziekte. Because the Scandinavian languages rely heavily on the distinction between the compound word and the sequence of the separate words it consists of, this has serious implications. For example, the adjective roikfrit, if separated into its composite parts, would mean roikfrit. In Dutch, compounds written with spaces may also be confused, but can also be interpreted as a sequence of a noun and a genitive in formal abbreviated writing. This may lead to, for example, commissievergadering being read as commission of the meeting, rather than meeting of the commission. The German spelling reform of 1996 introduced the option of hyphenating compound nouns when it enhances comprehensibility and readability. This is done mostly with very long compound words by separating them into 2 or more smaller compounds, like Eisenbahn and Verführung, Kraftfahrugs, Betriebsanleitung. Such practice is also permitted in other Germanic languages, e.g., Danish and Norwegian, and is even encouraged between parts of the word that have very different pronunciation, such as when one part is a loan word or an acronym. Compounding by language. Classical compounds. English compounds. Sanskrit compounds.